You had 43 in that third quarter. How much was that, a big factor of the outcome in this game?
Yeah, we gave up. The third quarter was not our best defensive effort. But we were still in the game in the fourth quarter, and we just couldn't get any stops, string together. We get one or two, we can string a bunch of stops together. So it's tough to compete, especially against a team like that. A lot of firepower, a lot of vets that won a lot of games, and they've done it for a long time. So I'm just playing guys, like that. You got to be on your P's and Q's and be locked in on the defensive end and get some stops and string them together. But fourth quarter or third quarter, we weren't the best defensively, and definitely gave them some momentum going into the fourth.
Do you guys feel like you're at the point of the season where you are still learning things as a team that can help you in the playoffs, or are you kind of at the point of you got it, let's just get to the postseason?
I think we're still learning each other. I think right now, we've been together for a couple of years now, but we're still learning. Every game's different. And, we had the best. I don't think we have the best record in the league anymore, but we did. And so, we got a big target, on us, and we're gonna get everyone's best shot, especially as it gets closer to the playoffs. There's teams that are desperate. I think in the West is 2 to 9 is a 2-game difference. So everyone's desperate. Everyone's trying to get wins, scratch up as many wins as they can before the playoffs. And so we just gotta realize that everyone's gonna be desperate to get wins and play desperate. We also have a big target on our back, being the number 1 seed in the East that people want to get us. So it's is what it is. Especially right now we just got to come back, have a little more focus, and we'll be all right.
Can you feel that energy from your opponents in these past 2 games? Clippers obviously tonight. Just that desperation you kind of talked about.
Yeah, I think so. Especially yesterday, they definitely felt like a playoff game. They were high intensity. Every possession mattered, and their superstars came to play, and same thing tonight. There's just a bunch of energy in the building. They came out firing. They were locked in on both sides of the ball. They made adjustments. We made adjustments. They strung together some stops, and we couldn't string together at the end there. But you can definitely tell the intensity's definitely up right now.
Did you feel like, you just mentioned it though, that the Kings were playing in desperation because they are chasing after the 8th spot right now?
Yeah, you can definitely tell. They have nothing to lose right now. They got I don't know how many more games. 12, 14 games left in the season. They got to make a jump. They got to make a push right now. And they came out and played with that desperate mentality. They came out and played hard, scrappy. Every possession mattered to them. And so we definitely could feel the desperation they were playing with tonight. And it's a good team. They got a lot of firepower. Got a lot of great players. So teams that are playing that desperate, they're definitely tough. But you can definitely feel it.
What made it difficult to get consecutive stops down the stretch?
I think a little bit of, they made some tough shots, which doesn't, it sucks sometimes, to have a great defensive, possession, and they make a tough shot at the end of the shot clock. That and, we had a little bit of lapses here and there with some, personnel. But overall, man, we were just kind of a step late every once in a while, and gave up some, especially in this league, especially right now. I mean, you're step late, it gives up, that's a possession you're not getting back.
Coming into tonight, you still had a mathematical chance to win 70 games. Only 2 teams in NBA history have done that. You no longer have that chance now. What level of disappointment is there with that, if any?
I didn't have any idea. I don't feel it. I don't know. I haven't heard a single person say anything about it in the locker room or anything, so I don't know if there's any disappointment about it. Sure, that would have been cool, but I was, it is what it is.
Kenny talked before this game about there's just so much talent on this team that there's guys that deserve to play a lot of minutes, and there's just not enough minutes to go around. Sometimes you can get lumped in that category. But he just talked about how much he values you. In terms of that, how difficult is it just to, you got to be ready whenever your number is called, and tonight your number is called to be in that starting lineup?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not too difficult. Kenny's good at communicating, what's going on, when it's going to happen. And he's right, we have so much firepower on this team. There's a lot of guys that, deserve to play that aren't playing. They don't get to play as much. And it is what it is, but I mean, this team, everyone's so close and friends. It's it doesn't bother anybody. But yeah, it'd have been different if I didn't know, like beforehand. It just like kind of threw me in. But the communication from coaching staff to players is really good. So it makes all that transition, from if you're playing high 20s or if you're playing like low teens, like makes transition very easy and it makes it just you kind of comfortable, especially with as many great players we got on this team.
How important is that for the coaching staff to be able to do that with guys, not just like you, but when we see the bench, right?
Mhm.
Like, no matter how many minutes you guys are playing, we can see like how much you guys are supporting Harvey is.
Yeah, it goes a long ways. Not a lot of teams, have the luxury of having as many good players as we have. But it goes a long ways when you have the camaraderie we have. We have everyone is really close with each other, and there's no like cliques or anything throughout the team. It's just everyone's really close, and everyone celebrates everyone's victories, which is a great thing. And it other teams might celebrate it, but they don't really truly mean it. I think everyone really truly when people celebrate art, like, we're super happy for our teammates, and so it makes it really easy. You don't have to worry about people coming out of the game being mad. You get a little frustrated, but it's all what's best for the team, and I think everyone understands that, and everyone's bought in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.